Hallo Klasse 8. This is our lesson for this week, the first week back after Christmas. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. We're going to start then with lesson 8 or Stunde, and it's about hair and eye colour, so describing yourself and what other people look like as well. It's on pages 18 and 19 in your orange booklets. Most of the tasks can be done in your booklet today, but some of them will need to be done in your book or on paper. Okay, so here's the vocab that you're going to be learning. It's at the start of this lesson in your booklet. Just quickly before we look at that though, let's talk about word order. You're used to French and Welsh word order being slightly different when you describe things, yeah? So in Welsh we wouldn't say like a blue t-shirt, we'd say a t-shirt blue and so on. It's the same in French, which we looked at a bit last year. But in German, actually, it's kind of the same structure as English. So you would need to say kind of, a blue jumper in exactly the same order as you would in English. So it wouldn't be jumper blue. Okay, so please bear that in mind when we're doing this topic. Everybody seems to want to put the adjective after the word you're describing, but you just don't need to in German. Okay. So if we look at the vocab, then we've got. First thing there is the question, what do you look like? In German, it's wie siehst du aus? Okay, then to say I have, it's ich habe. And now we have some description of hair. So brown hair is braune Haare. Blonde hair is blonde Haare. Don't forget, when you have an E on the end of a word in German, you always pronounce it with that kind of sound. Okay, so that means we've got braune Haare, blonde Haare. Okay. Red hair is rote Haare. Black hair, schwarze Haare. Long is lange. Mid-length is mittellange. Straight is glatte. And to say he has, you would need to say hat. So it's I have, ich habe, or hat is he has. Eye descriptions then, we've got blaue Augen. There's lots of vowels there, but you kind of need to break them up into two sounds. So you've got the AU sound and then the E, so that becomes blaue, yeah? So blaue Augen is blue eyes, braune Augen is brown eyes, grüne Augen is green eyes, grey eyes is graue Augen, and then we've got some other words that describe hair. I mean, they don't describe them, I guess some of them could describe eyes, but mainly it's hair. So dark is dunkel, light is hell, I think that's always quite ironic, short is kurz. I mean, actually, there should really be an E on the end of that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so that really should be kürzer because we're only using it when we're describing words. There's a long reason behind that. I won't go into it right now. So if you want to add an E to your page there and accept my apology, that'd be great. Curly is lockiger. It sounds like locks of hair, I guess. Wavy is welliger. And then she has is sie hat. So these are pretty much all the words you need to be able to describe what you look like and what other people look like as well. Task A, the question is wie siehst du aus? What do you look like? So you need to say what you look like. To answer this, you're going to want to start it off with ich habe and then describe your hair and your eyes. So I would say, ich habe lange braune Haare und braune Augen. You could also add in like how curly or straight your hair is as well. You're going to need to change the bits in red unless you have got long brown hair and brown eyes, in which case your work is done. So task B is a listening task. There are 8 different people. They're describing what they look like. It's all in the correct order, so you don't need to worry about that. For each person, you need to write down at least one bit of information. The first 4 people only say one thing about what they look like, and you need to write whatever that is in English in the box provided. Questions 5 to 8, those people actually say 2 different things about what they look like. So you write down both of those things. Okay, I'll play it for you twice, and then I'll go through the answers.
Kapitel 3 Einheit 2 Wie sieht sie aus? Seite 40 Aufgabe 1.
Hört zu. Wie sehen Sie aus?
1,
Theo, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe grüne Augen.
2,
Und du, Vicky, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe graue Augen.
3. Bastian, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe kurze Haare.
4. Und du, Lisa, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe lockige Haare.
5,
Stefanie, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe blaue Augen und lange Haare.
6,
Und du, Oliver, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe braune Augen und rote Haare.
7. Wie siehst du aus, Jan?
Ich habe grüne Augen und glatte Haare.
8. Wie siehst du aus, Eva?
Also, ich habe auch grüne Augen und ich habe blonde Haare.
All right, I'll play it for you a second time. I might say them afterwards as well because some of them, it might be a bit tricky to listen to the audio. I mean, it's hard enough at the best of times, but it might not be as clear because it's a recording of a recording. Okay.
Kapitel 3.
Einheit 2. Wie sieht sie aus? Seite 40.
Aufgabe 1.
Hört zu. Wie sehen sie aus?
1,
Question 1.
Theo, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe grüne Augen.
That was Ich habe grüne Augen. Question 2.
2,
Und du, Vicky, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe graue Augen.
That was Ich habe graue Augen.
3. Bastian, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe kurze Haare.
Ich habe kurze Haare.
4. Und du, Lisa, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe lockige Haare.
Ich habe lockige Haare.
5,
Stefanie, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe blaue Augen und lange Haare.
Ich habe blaue Augen und lange Haare.
6,
Und du, Oliver, wie siehst du aus?
Ich habe braune Augen und rote Haare.
Ich habe braune Augen und rote Haare.
7. Wie siehst du aus, Jan?
Ich habe grüne Augen und glatte Haare.
Ich habe grüne Augen und glatte Haare.
8. Wie siehst du aus, Eva?
Also, ich habe auch grüne Augen und ich habe blonde Haare.
So that was Ich habe auch grüne Augen und blonde Haare. Auch actually means also. All right, so if we go through the answers then, you can tick them if they're correct, and if not, I guess you can correct them. Theo then has green eyes. Vicky has grey eyes. Bastian has short hair, and Lisa has curly hair. Stephanie has blue eyes and long hair. Oliver has brown eyes and red hair. Jan has green eyes and straight hair. And Eva has green eyes and blonde hair. Okay, so the next task is task C. There's a chart here. This is quite tricky, and normally you'd be doing it in a classroom when I can give you some extra words and some hints. So if you're finding this tricky, then I guess that's because it is. So there's a chart here, and it's about different people's hair color in a class. I mean, yeah, why not? And then there are 5 different statements, and you need to say whether they're true or false or not. So true or false in German is richtig oder falsch. Richtig is true, and falsch is false. And oder means or. So if you could write either richtig or falsch after each one, that would be great. I'll just go through some of the vocab for you. The first one says, 5 Personen in der Klasse haben blonde Haare. Now that's been done for you. But if we look at the translation of it here, it's 5 Personen is 5 people. In der Klasse is in the class. Haben is have. Blonde Haare. So 5 people in the class have blonde hair. So if we have a look at the chart, that's falsch. That's incorrect there because it's actually 8 Personen. You don't need to correct them, but it is, if you want to have a quick look at how you would correct them, that might be quite handy for you. The second one then, mehr haben blonde Haare als braune Haare. Mehr is more and als is than. So mehr haben blonde Haare als braune Haare. Okay, so you need to decide whether or not that's true or false. Question 3, ein Drittel der Klasse means a third of the class. I mean, I guess drittel is kind of similar to dry, kind of. So yeah, ein Drittel der Klasse hat braune Haare. Decide whether you think that's true or false, and then write your answer in. Nummer 4, die Hälfte der Klasse hat entweder schwarze oder blonde Haare. So die Hälfte der Klasse is half of the class. And then entweder, you've been given this on your next page of vocab actually, entweder is either and oder is or, which you've already seen at the top of this task. So entweder, oder is either or. Okay, so use that vocab, decide whether or not that's true or false. And finally, the last one, es gibt 32 Personen in der Klasse. Es gibt is there is or there are. And 32 is a number. Don't forget, in German for numbers, we use the unit and then the word and then the 10, the multiple of 10. So 32 is literally 2 and 30. So work out what that number is. So if you think that's true, then write richtig, and if you think it's false, then write falsch. Okay, I'm going to go through the answers now, so if you haven't done it yet, pause here. The answers then are, for question 2, it's falsch. So mehr haben blonde Haare als braune Haare. It's actually the other way around. The next one, ein Drittel der Klasse hat braune Haare. That is in fact true. So it's 10 out of 30, which makes it a third. So das ist richtig. Nummer 4, die Hälfte der Klasse hat entweder schwarze oder blonde Haare. So do the blonde and people with blonde hair and people with black hair make up half of the class? Yes, that's true. Das ist richtig. Question 5, are there 32 people in the class? No, there are not. Das ist falsch. Next task is to describe these 3 different people. I mean, they haven't got faces, but you can add on a face if you want to. You're more than welcome to. You also, I'm very aware, have got black and white booklets, but you can see the pictures here. I really don't mind if you want to change the hair colour. That's totally fine by me. I really just want you to be practicing writing some of these words down. Okay? So you need to write descriptions about them, give as much detail as you can about their hair, and give them an eye colour of your choice. So if you could write this in your booklets, you've got some space there to write it down. If you could use either er hat or sie hat, so er hat is he has and she has is sie hat. I don't mind, you could use either for any of them really, it's totally fine. And then just give the description of what they look like. Okay, I've done the first one, so you can have a look, but then you need to do the other ones by yourselves. Okay, so that first one, I've said er hat, he has, but you could have equally have said she has or sie hat. Er hat kurze, glatte, blonde Haare, so he has short, straight, blonde hair, und blaue Augen, and blue eyes. Okay, so I've just made up some blue eyes there, but you could have called them, you could have said they were braune Augen or grüne Augen or graue Augen, any of those would be fine. Okay, so if you can add in your next 2 descriptions for the next 2 people there, that would be great. You might want to pause this video as you're doing that. Okay, moving on then, task E is to do some translations. There are 3 different, not sentences really, but 3 different parts to translate here. Don't worry if it's not word exactly kind of word for word translation here. That's not really what I'm looking for. So there are different ways of saying what your name is in German. You can either say ich heiße, or you could say mein Name ist. There is another way as well. I don't mind which one you use. It's totally fine. Okay. I'm going to go through the answers now. So if you want to pause here, and then you can come back and check your answers. So Nummer 1 is, hi, I'm called Max and I'm 13 years old. I have blue eyes and short blonde hair. The answer for that would be, hallo, ich heiße Max und ich bin 13 Jahre alt. Don't forget the Jahre needs a capital J because it's a noun. Ich habe blaue Augen und kurze blonde Haare. Okay, couple of things I want to draw your attention to. Augen needs a capital A, because it's a noun as well, it's a thing, so it always needs a capital. So does Haare, okay? Haare has only got one R and it's got two A's. I feel like that is possibly the most common spelling mistake in Year 8 German. Okay, double check as well that you've got 13 is EI, not IE. And yeah, just make sure whenever you're writing about hair and eyes that hair and eyes always have capitals. Question 2 then. Hello, my name is Seb and I'm 14. I have long curly brown hair and brown eyes. I've got here, hallo, mein Name ist Seb und ich bin 13. I mean, you could have written Jahre alt as well, but I haven't. Just like in English, you don't always have to say that. Ich habe lange, lockige braune Haare und braune Augen. Once again, you need to make sure that Haare and Augen are capitalized. Question 3 then. Hello, my name is Julia and I'm 12 years old. I've got green eyes and mid-length straight black hair. Now with this one it says I've got, and it's actually exactly the same in German. You would just say I have, but we sometimes would say I have got instead of just I have. Okay, so it's the same phrase in German, but it's slightly different in English. So that would be, hallo, mein Name ist Julia und ich bin 12 Jahre alt. Once again, the J needs a capital there because it's a noun. Ich habe grüne Augen und mittellange, glatte, schwarze Haare. Okay, and that once again needs a capital, as does this one here. Okay. F then is your last task, and it's to design a wanted poster. I normally set this for homework. So if you haven't got time to do it before the end of this lesson today, then by all means, if you could quickly do it for homework before next week, that would be great. It's to design a wanted poster, and it's, you might have noticed that they're at the back of my classroom, actually quite close to the door. I've got a display of these from last year. So if you could choose a picture, it could be a celebrity or just somebody random, it could be a drawing, I really don't mind. And then if you could write the word wanted at the top, it's a bit like one of those kind of traditional, I guess, kind of Western, wanted posters. And it will have then a brief description of the person who is wanted in German, and then a reward amount as well. So I will see if I can post an example of this up to Google Classroom so that you kind of know what you're doing. I would like to update my display for the current ones I've got in my classroom for current Year 8 posters, and if I do put your poster on the wall, then you do get Haribo, I mean, obviously. So that might be something to think about. You're welcome to email me your poster, but you could also bring it in next lesson if you prefer. A lot of people last year did the kind of, where you kind of burn the edges of it to make it look really old, or kind of put a tea bag on it, to make it look old as well. So you're welcome to do that. But equally, you don't have to. That's totally fine. Yeah, just make sure that it's got all the German there that we've gone through today. So talking about hair color, eye color, and so on. There is some extra vocab which is here for you. So things like he or she is dangerous. Okay, you could talk about maybe a bald head if you maybe wanted to have Voldemort on your wanted poster. You can talk about, well, pretty much everything else there. You could also say like beware if you want. So yeah, if you could just make that as, elaborate as you possibly can with as much German as we've covered today, and pictures and other things, then that would be great. Okay, thanks Klasse 8. That's it for today then.